Okay. So going from intermediate to advanced English.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a big jump.
It is.
It is a big jump, but it's totally doable.
Absolutely.
And in this deep dive, we are here to help you make that jump.
That's right.
We're going to be your guides, and we're going to be sharing some of the best shortcuts and secrets.
Yeah, all those little kind of cheat codes, those hacks.
Cheat codes, yeah.
To unlock.
To unlock your English potential.
Their full potential, exactly.
Because we've got a treasure trove of tips and tricks.
We do.
To help you with all 4 skill areas.
Yeah.
Reading, writing, listening, and speaking.
It's all covered.
All covered. And the best part is you can start using these right away.
Immediately.
This isn't just theory.
Yeah, this is practical.
This is practical stuff.
Stuff you can use day to day.
No need to dust off the grammar textbooks.
Nope.
None of that. We're diving right into the real world.
The real deal. Real world English.
The real deal.
How to speak and write and listen and read like a native speaker.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's kick things off with reading.
Okay.
So, you've been crushing those Agatha Christie novels.
That's great.
You're doing really well with those, but
It's time to level up.
it's time to level up.
We're going to graduate to the
Big leagues.
Economist.
The Economist, exactly.
BBC News articles, maybe even some academic journals.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there.
Putting, your skills to the test.
Yeah.
Getting you ready for that university application or that job interview.
Okay, so I remember when I first started reading, complex texts, it felt like I was encountering a new language.
Oh, I know that feeling.
It's like every other word I didn't understand.
Right.
And I want to grab the dictionary.
Yes.
And look up everything.
It's so tempting.
It's so tempting, but is that the most effective way to learn?
Well, it can be a bit of a trap.
Okay.
Because,
Yeah.
constantly stopping to look up every word,
Yeah.
it really kind of breaks your flow.
Yeah.
It can make reading feel like a chore.
It can, yeah. Instead, I really want you to kind of harness the power of context clues.
Okay.
Think of yourself as a detective,
Ooh.
piecing together a mystery.
Yep.
You don't always need every single detail to understand the big picture.
Right.
So let's say you come across a sentence. Like the scientist's groundbreaking research earned her accolades from the international community.
Okay.
Now, you might not know what accolades means right away, but from the context, can you kind of guess?
Yeah. It sounds like she's earned some kind of recognition or praise.
Exactly.
Yeah. Getting awards or something.
Yeah, maybe awards, praise, recognition.
Something like that.
Something positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so you've used the clues around the word
The context clue.
to figure out the meaning.
Ooh. I like that detective work. It's fun.
It is, isn't it?
It is.
It's like a puzzle.
And it's a little bit less intimidating
Oh, for sure.
than having to look up every single word.
Yeah, and another strategy you can use to get better at this is to actually look for synonyms or antonyms in the sentence or the surrounding sentences.
Okay.
Because often they can kind of give you these hints about the meaning of that unknown word.
So it's almost like a built-in kind of decoder ring
Exactly, yeah.
for you to figure out the vocabulary.
I like that, yeah.
I like that.
The decoder ring, that's great.
So what about exploring different genres?
Oh, yeah, that's a great point.
Does that help as well?
It does,
Okay.
absolutely, because venturing into different writing styles,
Okay.
like poetry or technical writing,
Yeah.
or even legal documents,
Oh, yeah.
it can expose you to a wider range of vocabulary and different sentence structures.
Right. So it's like adding different spices to your language palette.
I love that.
Okay, so we've tackled reading.
We have.
But what about writing?
All right, writing.
How do we go from writing, grammatically correct sentences
Yeah.
to crafting really sophisticated
Sophisticated.
and stylish prose?
Oh, that's the goal.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's about moving beyond simply conveying information.
Yeah.
It's about expressing yourself
Yeah, that's a really good point.
with nuance
With nuance.
and impact, yes.
So instead of saying, I like traveling,
Right.
you could say, I'm captivated by the allure of exploring diverse cultures and breathtaking landscapes.
Wow, yeah,
Same thought,
much more evocative.
but way more impactful.
Right.
It's like you're painting a picture
Exactly.
with your words.
Instead of just stating a fact,
Yeah.
you're actually bringing the reader with you on that journey.
But how do you learn to do that?
That's a great question.
I mean, it feels a bit daunting.
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be, but there are, certain things you can focus on.
Okay.
One is to actually really think about your sentence structure.
Right.
Instead of relying on those simple subject, verb, object sentences.
Yeah.
Experiment.
Okay.
with things like compound and complex sentences.
Yeah.
So instead of saying, I went to the store, I could say, although it was raining heavily, I ventured out to the store because I desperately needed coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Is that kind of what you mean?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're adding detail.
You're adding detail, and you're creating a more kind of interesting narrative just by changing that sentence structure.
Yeah, so it's not just about adding like fancy vocabulary.
No.
It's about structure.
It's
how you're crafting it.
The way you put those words together.
Yeah, okay.
The way you phrase things to create a certain effect.
So it's about being intentional.
Yes.
With your choices.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So we've talked about reading. We've talked about writing.
Yes.
Now let's talk about listening.
Ooh.
Listening, which can be one of the most challenging
it can be.
aspects of language learning.
Especially at the advanced level.
When you encounter like different accents, rapid speech,
the speed,
and
idioms, yes.
That make no sense.
That make absolutely no sense when you first hear them.
Yeah,
right.
Like a linguistic jungle out there.
It is.
Do you have any tips for navigating that?
Well, I think one of the best things you can do is to really immerse yourself in authentic English content.
Okay, so like not just language learning podcasts.
Not just those.
But like branching out.
Listening to podcasts designed for native speakers, even if they're not about topics that you're, super familiar with.
Right. So it's okay if I don't understand every single word.
Exactly.
It's more about
getting that exposure
to
the natural flow and the speed of real English.
Okay. So would you recommend things like, if I'm going to listen to podcasts?
Yes.
What kind of podcasts?
Well, there are so many, but I think a few good ones to start with are, The English We Speak, which is a great one for learning idioms and expressions. Yeah. And then TED Talks Daily, which is just a fantastic way to kind of get exposed to different accents, different topics, different styles of speaking. And then, something like Serial, which is, a really captivating storytelling podcast.
So a variety of different things.
Yeah. And honestly, the best resources are the ones that you find genuinely interesting and engaging.
Right, because
that's what's going to keep you coming back for more.
That's going to keep you coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've heard about a technique called shadowing.
Oh, yes.
Is it supposed to be helpful for listening?
It's a fantastic technique.
Okay, so can you explain what that is?
So basically, shadowing is you're listening to a native speaker. And then you're trying to repeat. What they're saying as closely as possible.
So mimicking their pronunciation, intonation, even their rhythm. So it's kind of like vocal exercises.
Exactly.
But for English.
Yeah, it's like going to the gym for your mouth and for your ears.
I've never tried that before.
You should give it a try.
But it sounds really effective.
It is.
To pronunciation.
Yeah, and you can do it anytime, anywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do it with podcasts. You can do it with audiobooks.
Yes.
You can even do it with YouTube videos.
Right. So anything you're listening to.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So we've covered reading.
We have.
We've covered writing.
Listening.
Listening, yes.
Now let's talk about
the big one.
The big one.
The one that everybody gets a little bit nervous about.
Yeah.
Speaking.
Yes. I think a lot of people, myself included, we get nervous.
It's understandable.
About speaking in a new language.
It is.
Especially at an advanced level.
Especially when you're trying to reach that fluency.
Yeah.
Where you can express yourself with nuance.
With nuance, yeah. And, and effortlessly.
Effortlessly. It can be nerve-wracking.
It can be, but, the key is just practice and exposure.
Practice and exposure.
Yeah. The more you practice speaking,
yeah,
the more confident and comfortable you'll become.
Well, that's easy to say.
I know.
But sometimes it's hard to put into practice.
It is.
Especially if you don't have a lot of opportunities to interact with native speakers.
Yeah.
How do you go about doing that?
Well, there's still lots of ways to practice.
Okay.
Even if you don't have regular access to native speakers.
Right.
You can join online language exchange communities. You can find conversation partners through apps or websites or, even record yourself speaking.
Oh, okay.
And then listen back to it.
So you can hear. How you sound.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what about those moments where you're having a conversation and you want to use like a sophisticated word or a phrase, but you're not sure if it sounds natural.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Or forced.
It's all about finding that balance.
Okay.
You don't want to sound like you're trying too hard or, using a thesaurus to impress people. It's about using advanced vocabulary in a way that feels natural and authentic to you.
So it's not about showing off.
No.
Your vocabulary. It's about using the right words.
It's about using the right words for the right situation.
Right.
And in a way that feels...
To express yourself clearly.
Yes, to express yourself clearly and effectively.
Okay.
So I always think about it like, adding spices to your cooking.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to overwhelm the dish with too many flavors. But, a few well-placed spices can really enhance the taste and make it more interesting.
I like that analogy. Because it's not about cramming all these big words.
Exactly.
But it's about, thinking thoughtfully.
It's about being strategic.
About how you use advanced vocabulary.
Exactly.
And the more you expose yourself to advanced English, the more it will just...
It will flow naturally.
It will start to flow naturally,
It's like building up that foundation.
A foundation, exactly.
And allowing your spoken English to blossom.
The blossom,
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
From that.
And remember, everyone makes mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
Even native speakers. So don't be afraid to just experiment. Try out new words, try out new expressions.
Right.
The most important thing is to communicate effectively and have fun while you're doing it.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like giving yourself permission to play. With the language.
Exactly.
I like that.
And to not be afraid.
Yeah.
To make mistakes.
Yeah, I think we've covered
so much
ground already.
I know.
And I'm already feeling more confident about my own English skills.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear.
Just from, hearing your advice.
Well, remember, it's a journey.
It is.
And it's all about taking those small steps.
Yeah.
Celebrating the progress.
Right.
And never giving up.
Never give up.
No.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And come back to tackle even more.
More tips, more strategies.
Tips and strategies.
Yes.
In part 2. Of our deep dive.
I'm excited.
Into advanced English.
Me too.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Okay, so we're back.
We are back.
And we're ready to dive even deeper. Into this world of advanced English.
That's right.
And we've covered so much already.
I know, we've covered so much.
From decoding tricky vocabulary to expressing ourselves with more nuance and style. But we're not done yet.
No, not at all.
We still got plenty of tips.
Oh, we've got a lot more.
And strategies to share.
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to integrating all 4 skill areas.
That's right.
Reading, writing, listening, and speaking. To create a truly holistic approach.
Holistic,
to language learning.
That's the key.
So it's not about mastering each skill in isolation.
Right.
It's about weaving them together.
Yeah, weaving them together.
To create this tapestry.
I love that analogy.
Of fluency.
It's like a beautiful tapestry.
But how do you actually do that in practice?
Okay, so let's say you've just read a fascinating article.
Okay.
About the future of artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Instead of just passively consuming that information.
Right.
Why not challenge yourself
to
summarize the key points in writing?
So you're taking what you've read. And then processing it.
Put it into your own words.
In a new way.
So
you're reinforcing your comprehension. But you're also developing your writing skills.
You're synthesizing the information. And you're expressing it in a new way.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And what about listening?
Okay, listen.
How can we connect that skill to the other ones?
Okay, well, imagine you're listening to a podcast about a controversial topic, like climate change. Afterwards, you could have a discussion with a friend or a family member about the main points that were raised in that podcast.
So you're taking those ideas.
Heard out of your head and then actually
putting them into practice.
Talking about them with another person.
Exactly.
Oh, I like that.
So you're practicing your listening comprehension.
Yeah.
But you're also formulating your own opinions.
And then speaking them.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good way to practice.
It is.
You're listening and you're speaking. Yeah, and it helps you remember the information better, too.
Oh, okay.
When you engage with it on multiple levels.
Okay.
It kind of gets embedded.
Yeah. So it's not just about each skill individually.
Right.
It's finding these ways to connect them.
To
create, like, a synergistic learning experience.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is inspiring.
Good.
It feels like, we're giving people a blueprint for like becoming masters of English.
That's the goal.
But let's be honest, sometimes even with like the best of intentions, it can be tough to stay motivated.
It can.
And consistent with language learning.
Yeah.
So, any tips?
Yeah, I think setting specific, achievable goals is really important.
So instead of just aiming to improve your English.
Right, because that's very broad.
Yeah, it's broad.
Very vague.
Right.
Set a concrete target.
Okay.
So you could say, okay, this week I'm going to learn 10 new vocabulary words.
Okay, so specific.
Specific.
Measurable.
Measurable, yeah.
I like that.
Or this month, I'm going to write one short essay.
Okay.
Or every day, I'm going to listen to 30 minutes of English podcasts.
So it's like it's broken down.
Yeah, you break it
into these bite-sized pieces.
Bite-sized pieces.
That you can actually manage.
Exactly.
That feel achievable.
Yeah.
So you're not overwhelmed.
You don't feel overwhelmed.
By this huge goal.
Yeah, because that can be really daunting.
Yeah.
And it can actually put people off.
Yeah.
So yeah, break it down into smaller chunks.
Make it get manageable.
And then you can see your progress.
Right. So you're actually seeing the results.
Exactly.
And you feel good about it.
Yeah. And that keeps you motivated.
It's encouraging to keep going.
Exactly.
And what about tracking your progress?
Oh, tracking is a fantastic idea.
Okay.
So you can use a simple notebook or a spreadsheet or even language learning apps to keep track of your goals.
Okay.
Your milestones, your achievements.
I like the idea of keeping like a language learning journal.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Like write down interesting words you find, new phrases.
And, you can even reflect on how your journey is going. Yeah. Celebrate your successes.
Celebrate the little wins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, even small steps are still progress.
It all adds up.
It all adds up in the end.
It's not about being perfect.
No, not at all. It's about
consistency.
Consistency.
It's about just chipping away at it.
Chipping away at it.
Little by little.
Little by little.
Every day.
Every day.
Even if it's just for 15 minutes.
So you don't need.
No, you don't.
You don't need hours and hours.
You don't need to block out hours and hours.
Okay.
Just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes a day.
And make a big difference. A big difference. Okay.
It's like exercising a muscle.
Okay.
Regular, consistent workouts will get you better results than one big, intense session.
Right. So it's like a marathon.
Exactly. It's a marathon.
Not a sprint.
It's not a sprint. Yeah.
Right.
So, it's about building those habits, making it sustainable.
Yeah.
And remember, you've got so many tools and resources available to help you.
Okay.
Language learning apps, online dictionaries.
Yeah.
Grammar checkers.
Right. There's a lot out there.
There is.
We don't have to do it alone.
No. And the best part is, you've got this amazing community. Of language learners out there.
Yeah. So many people are learning English.
It's one of the most, spoken languages in the world.
So we're not alone.
No.
And it makes it more fun.
More fun, more enjoyable.
When you're doing it with others.
Absolutely. And more rewarding.
This is so positive. It's like you're giving us a roadmap.
Yeah.
For success.
A roadmap for success.
Not just with English.
No.
But like in life.
In life, exactly.
About that consistency.
Consistency.
It's about, celebrating the small wins.
Yeah, celebrating.
It's remembering that it's a journey.
It's all about the journey. And, the more you embrace that, the more rewarding it will become.
And English is just this...
It's a gateway.
Gateway to so many other things.
To so many other things.
Yeah, it's about expanding your horizons.
Expanding your horizons.
Connecting with new cultures and new people.
Absolutely.
And unlocking
your potential.
Yeah.
As a global citizen.
It makes me realize it's not just like...
It's not just a set of skills.
A set of skills, yeah.
It's so much more than that.
It's a journey.
It's a journey, yeah.
Of self-discovery.
Of self-discovery.
Yeah, I like that.
It's about growth.
Okay, so we've covered so much.
We have.
In just these 2 parts.
I know, it's amazing.
But we have one more part to go.
One more to go.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
We've got some exciting final thoughts.
Final thoughts, yes.
And a thought-provoking question.
A thought-provoking question.
To leave you with. So stick around.
Stick around.
For the grand finale. All right, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into advanced English fluency. And I have to say, I'm feeling super energized after all the amazing tips and insights we've covered.
I know, me too.
But before we wrap things up, I'm curious.
Okay.
What are some of the biggest kind of breakthroughs or aha moments you've had in your own language learning journey?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think for me, one of the biggest kind of light bulb moments was realizing that language learning, it's not just about memorizing rules and vocabulary.
Oh, yeah.
It's about developing this deeper understanding of how language works as a system of communication.
So it's like
cracking a code.
Cracking a code, exactly.
Yeah, like understanding the underlying principles.
The structure, the patterns.
Yeah, and then it makes it easier to
you can kind of
navigate those nuances.
All the little twists and turns of English.
Exactly. You start to see the connections between different parts of the language.
It makes it less intimidating.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
And, another kind of breakthrough for me was actually embracing the idea of making mistakes.
Okay.
As part of the process.
Oh, yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in that fear of making a mistake.
Especially when you're
when you're speaking.
You're like,
yeah.
I don't want to mess this up.
It's just special. Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to mess this up.
But the truth is, mistakes are inevitable.
Yeah, you get to make a...
You are.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah.
They're actually valuable learning opportunities. Oh, that's a good way to look at it. Instead of
seeing them as failures.
Yeah, like beating yourself up.
Exactly.
It's more about
It's like, oh, this is a chance for me to learn.
Yeah.
And grow.
Yeah, I think a lot of language learners, myself included, we tend to be perfectionists.
Yeah, we want to get it right.
We want to get it right every time.
Every single time.
Yeah.
But you know what?
What?
It's okay to let go of that need for perfection.
All right, give myself permission.
Give yourself permission,
To not be perfect.
To make mistakes.
Yeah.
Because that's how you learn.
Yeah. Okay. So embrace the messiness.
Embrace the messiness, yeah.
Of the learning process.
Because that's where the magic happens.
Okay. I like that. And speaking of, not being afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
I think it's so important to find ways to make
it fun.
Language learning fun and engaging.
Fun and engaging, yeah.
So do you have any tips for I think one of my favorite ways is to connect it to your other interests and passions.
Oh.
So, for example, if you're a movie buff, why not watch English language films with subtitles?
Okay.
Or if you love music,
try
listening to English language songs.
Yeah.
And read the lyrics.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's about kind of finding those things that you already enjoy.
Yeah. So you're not...
Yeah, and then you're kind of...
forcing it.
You're sneaking in the language learning.
Sneaking it in. Yeah.
Without it feeling like a chore.
It's more natural.
Exactly. It's more organic.
I like that.
And I think it's also important to, celebrate your progress.
Celebrate those little wins.
Celebrate those little wins.
Yeah.
No matter how small.
Even if it's just I learned a new word today.
Yeah, or I understood a whole sentence in a podcast.
And I didn't have to look it up.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a win.
It's a win.
Yeah. And I think it's important to remember that language learning...
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
It is.
Not a destination.
Not a destination, yeah.
There's always going to be more to learn, more to explore.
There's always another level.
There is.
To reach.
And, the beauty of it is the journey itself is so rich.
Yeah.
And so filled with discoveries.
Yeah.
So embrace those challenges.
Okay.
Savor the victories.
I like that.
And never stop exploring.
Keep going.
Keep going, yeah.
All right. So it feels like we've come full circle.
We have.
In this deep dive.
Full circle from
from the practical.
The practical to the mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's all about.
And I hope our listener is feeling empowered and inspired.
Inspired and ready.
To continue their journey.
Let's keep going.
With English.
But before we say goodbye.
Yes.
I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Oh, I like these.
Okay. So imagine you've reached that advanced level of English fluency.
They're there.
What doors do you see opening?
What opportunities?
Yeah. What opportunities and possibilities
That's a good one.
do you envision for yourself?
Yeah. Think about that.
We would love to hear.
We would.
Your aspirations and your dreams.
And as you continue on your journey, remember, we are here to cheer you on.
We are.
Every step of the way.
So keep practicing. Keep exploring.
Yes.
Keep believing in your potential.
You've got this.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Happy learning.
Happy learning.